Today I found these fresh chestnuts. I was doing my groceries on bike. I was bicycling, and then there were these two trees, the chestnut trees, and it is a chestnut season right now. So look at those beautiful colors. Looks very nice. Although I am not looking for a hyper-realistic drawing, it is interesting though to see that the colors that I am choosing on the drawing are not the same as I see here in the chestnut. It is a bit difficult to see on the camera, but there are more cooler brown ochre tones in the chestnut. Here's another one. So maybe it would be nice to try and put a little bit of these cooler tones in the chestnuts in the drawing. So let's try this burnt ochre. This is my very first video with a new camera. The phone I was using for recording was deteriorating. It was failing to save footage, and well, there were a lot more problems. So this is a new smartphone, and the camera works a little bit different. So I'm figuring out how it works best. But so far so good. It is the month of September. I think it is the 21st of September right now. Yes, it is. That means autumn is here. And it is the chestnut season. So I'm just adding a thin layer of this burnt ochre. Here I have grass green, and I'm going to add a little more green here. I hope I will be able to find one, a fresh one. So tomorrow I will go out and search for one of these chestnuts. Bolsters. I call it bolsters. It's not the correct English name, but... And here I have earth green yellowish, one of my favorite greens in the Polychromos series. Look at that. Wow. I have a new camera and it has different features, so I'm testing it now. I hope this is working for you. With this one I can just zoom in and do a close-up without changing, without taking my phone from the tripod. I have a very nice little tripod, but with the other phone I had to take it off to make close-ups. But with this one it looks like I can just keep it on and zoom in. Here I have Van Dyke Brown, and I'm going to use this color to build some contrast between this twig and the chestnut thing. And here I have Cold Gray number 6. And I'm using this pencil to create a shaded area here. Very light touch again. Slowly building the shadow. And here I have raw umber. You know, when these things hang on the tree, they are bright light green, but as soon as they fall, and maybe even before they fall, they start to change color to browns. Let's take a look at the whole picture. I really like this green here, but I'm absolutely sure these two need a little more green, and I think I need to create a touch of green over here, somewhere over here, to balance the green over there. Now this thing, I don't know from which tree it came. It was a fluffy thing, yellow, but maybe I will put in a touch of green in this one to balance the greens in this drawing. Let's give it a try. As you can see, there is a bit of sunshine. The last sun rays of the day. At least on this table. It's almost 6 o'clock in the evening. And maybe I will give this, this larger piece of wood a touch of green here and there. I really want to do more work on this piece of wood, but I think this green is helping to balance things out a little bit. If you look at a piece of wood that has been outdoors, then you will find so many different colors. Grays and browns and yellows and greens. And warmer tones and cooler tones. This looks good. Tomorrow I will continue this one. And then, well, I'm looking forward to it. I have been looking outdoors for this thing, and unfortunately I couldn't find anything. Well, there were these things. This is cadmium yellow lemon, but they had turned brown, and I wanted to show you the fresh green look that it has when it's still fresh, but unfortunately that is not going to happen. So I'm just going to continue this one like this. I'm having a little bit of trouble with my new camera. It's working fine, but I need to find my way with it. I mounted it on a different, I used this one first. But now I have something else that I think works better with this camera. This camera has different focus and different light, and this is light green. So forgive me for recording these videos so late, because I should have uploaded them a couple of weeks ago. That was the my initial plan, and then that didn't work out. So I'm just continuing this work, and I want to add a touch of a cooler tone there. This is Juniper Green, and the German name Wacholdergrün. Wow, beautiful word. Wacholder. Some sort of tree, I think, but I'm not sure. Could be something completely different. I'm using this to add a touch of shading here and there. Now, when you look at these at the real one, then you will see that these spikes are much thinner. They look like needles, but I found it quite complicated to draw that, so I made them a little bit bigger. Well, that is not bad at all. I'm going to use the same Wacholdergrün, Juniper Green. Maybe it's just the Wacholder means juniper tree, I don't know. I believe in Dutch that is jeneverbes. It has berries, and in Holland they make a strong alcoholic, very disgusting thing. I don't like it. Juniper Green. Let's continue this one, because it's a nice tone. It's a cooler grayish green. Here I have a twig, because I'm now going to color this area, and that is can be quite complicated. So let's see, take a look at how this, what the wood looks like. Now, first of all, it is a light color, and if I had not picked up this twig and take a look at it right now, I would have made my drawing way too dark, way too dark. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start very light. I'll keep that twig close to me as a reference, and I think this is the right time to use a special color of the Tombow Erogiton series, Oil Yellow. And it is slightly greener. It looks slightly greener than the wood over here, but let's see. Just going to put that in, just scribbling. I'm not looking for a you know, I'm not looking for realism. I'm looking for enough detail so your eyes will tell you this is a piece of wood. And I have another pencil here from Prismacolor Premier Ginger Root. I gave it a sharp point. I don't have that many light beige colors in my Polychromos series, but fortunately I have these other pencil series as well. At least, well, I think I don't have 150 Prismacolor Premier pencils, but about, I don't know, 130. Now I need to start adding areas of shading, but that is quite difficult. Actually, I'm doing something now I have never done before. So if this goes wrong, then you know why, because I never colored a piece of wood like this. But I would love to learn how to do that. So let's give it a try. There is something else that I see here. The bark, the outside of the wood, is just a line, but actually bark has a little bit of body. If you cut a piece of wood, you would see, or a twig, that the bark on the outside is not infinitely thin. It has the thickness of about, in this case it's about 1 millimeter, I think. So what happens if I put that in? This is burnt ochre. I'm really experimenting right now, so if you don't trust me, if you don't trust the process, then it's better to stop coloring and wait to see the end result. Here is the walnut brown again. and nougat. I heard a watercolor artist say, if you are drawing, or in her case painting, and it looks ugly, but you're not finished yet, then keep going and trust the process. Now, these are wise words. Why not just trust the process of layering and blending and and another beautiful Prismacolor Premier sand. If you don't have Prismacolor Premier, use a yellow tone. Just well, that's not bad for a first time. I think I could do a little bit more. Here is Payne's Grey. I think with a little bit more shading, this twig will look better. And here is the ginger root again. I'm going to put that ginger root here as well. I will use that ginger root over here as well. And a slightly, well, very dark, much darker tone. Nougat, just a touch. Here I have a large book about nature in Germany. Well, that's not exactly true. The book, I think I've shown it before. Knaus große Naturführer. Ja, die Tier- und Pflanzenwelt Mitteleuropas. And that says this is a book about the plants and animals of Central Europe. So Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Czechia, Slovakia, Poland, all these countries. Here we have what I am the chestnuts and this thing, yeah, I call it bolster, but I'm sure there's a different name for it in English. Now you can see it's opened a little bit and you can see the color of the chestnut that is inside. And this one is opened a little bit also. So I'm going to put in a touch of chestnut color. Let's start with Polychromos Sanguine. Just a touch of it. And then a beautiful Prismacolor Premier Crimson Lake. And then let's add a touch of burnt sienna. These may be completely different colors than the other here over here, but that doesn't matter. I know sometimes people stick to their palette. I think too much. Middle cadmium red. If you look at nature, the plants, the animals, the sky, the rocks, everything, the wood, you will notice that there is an infinite amount of shades and colors you can find. So no two chestnuts are the same. It's just not. Wow. I think though that this chestnut over here is too bright now because it is inside that bolster and there's a lot of shading, so I'm going to add Payne's Gray. Lovely, lovely Payne's Gray. Such a great invention. Look at that. Let's add a touch of Payne's Gray here in the shaded areas as well. I'm keeping that light touch. But if I feel that the paper is having trouble, or that the pencil is having trouble leaving its color behind, then I give it a little more push, just a touch. Here I have a green gold. Actually, this is one of my favorite Polychromos colors. Let's give this leaf a little more I don't have the original leaf anymore, so I cannot tell you how it looked like, but I know it was yellow. This is a light green. It is the end of September, September 29th. And the forecast says that it is going to be 25 degrees Celsius. That is hot. Here's the green gold again. I'm just scribbling, making small circles. Let's do that over here as well. And I'm going to use that ginger root again. I really hope that Prismacolor will find a way to prevent their pencils from breaking that easily. There's on the internet you can read a lot about it. There are a lot of videos about it. It is a complaint that you hear very often. Partly it has to do with the quality of the manufacturing actually. But on the other side it also has to do with the extreme softness of the pencil. Here is raw umber, polychromos. But nowadays there are many ways to many systems to prevent your pencils from breaking. Polychromos has it. Has a system that makes it almost impossible to have the lead broken. And another pencil brand, a German one, Staedtler, they invented something too. Now they are making less expensive pencils, so obviously it is possible to add this anti-breaking system even to less expensive pencils. That's a good thing. I hope more and more pencil brands will do that. Add stuff like that to their pencils. Warm gray number 5. Let's add a touch of shading to these. These are, it fell from a tree last year. I've no idea which tree. I think it is a tree that, well, it was in a park, so I think it's a tree that is not actually, it's from another country, I think. It doesn't belong here. I will add a touch of nougat here to this mysterious thing that fell from the tree. If I ever find one again, I will show you. I'm sure it's something with seeds in it. Here I have dark Naples ochre, and I'm going to use that here on the this leaf. Let's take a look at this feather. The original feather is a gray one. Now the question is, does a gray feather work in this composition? That is the question. First I'm going to add a dark Payne's gray, and I'm choosing this one because this Polychromos Payne's gray has a there is quite a lot of blue in it. Now let's try that same ginger root. You can also use the oil yellow by Erogiton, or very light cream color or yellow. And I have a feeling that, well, let's see if I'm right. It's interesting because I put on the oil yellow and I can now see that that is not the right tone. It feels like I have to go a little bit warmer, but I'm not completely sure. Another experiment, burnt ochre. I think this experimenting is key to painting, drawing, doing art stuff, whatever. because it will allow you to discover new things, and it will allow you to learn from your mistakes. Mistakes are so precious. These are the moments that you will gain experience. And I think in drawing arts in general, it is all about experience and technique. As a voice teacher, I know also that in music, if there's a lack of technique, whether it is a technique of proper singing, playing the guitar, playing drums, playing the piano, if your technique is weak, this is Nuga, if your technique is weak, your music won't come to life the way it could. And there are many, many examples of singers and musicians in general that have great talents, but for some reason they don't want to learn or don't work enough on their technique. And that is what happens in the art world as well. Here in the Netherlands, I've heard from professional artists who went to art school. I don't know how it is right now on the art schools, but back then it was not about learning how to place your pencil on paper, how to use a brush, how to mix your paints. It was all about expression. Now you need to express yourself. Well, your expression will look like a lot of shouting if you cannot master the techniques. So please invest in your techniques. Now there maybe, I'm sure you will find that there are specific techniques that will not fit your hand when it comes to coloring or painting. And after a while, if you feel this is not for me, this way, go search for another way. This is Cold Gray number 4, and now that I am coloring this feather, I can see that this leaf needs toning down. So I'm using a very, very light touch of this Cold Gray to tone down the bright yellow. Although the real leaf was very bright, for this composition I feel I need to tone it down a little bit. So for example, if you have trouble blending, I don't ever use blending tools like odorless mineral spirits, pencil blending pencils. But maybe for you they might work very well. And you might even try a completely different pencil, a softer one or a harder one. Maybe even change and go to a different medium, like pastels. Just try it. If you have the opportunity to try different media, try it.